Welcome to Cyprus News by FinancialMirror.tv. Finance Minister Harilaos Stavrakis said that President Christofias and his government were doing much to limit the consequences of the global financial crisis, noting that the figures spoke for themselves. Addressing a trade union meeting, he said that in the last quarter of 2008, Cyprus had the highest growth rate in the Eurozone. The finance minister noted that this was the first time that social cohesion budget was so high concerning Easter allowances, pensions, and student welfare. He added that the government has managed to provide for social welfare without sacrificing economic and fiscal stability. Cyprus has absorbed all of the allocated money from the various EU structural and other funding programs during the 2004 to 2006 period, according to Dr. Andreas Moleskis, Permanent Secretary of the Planning Bureau, which supervises and is the authority through which all national and EU-funded programs are approved and distributed. The level of assistance that Cypriot institutions, mostly in research and education, receive from the EU is in addition to the nationally approved programs. Under the new funding program for 2007 to 2013, the total amount of funds that Cyprus will pay into the EU budget will hover close to 1 billion euros. The EU will return about 850 million euros to Cyprus during the 2007 to 2013 period, and the difference of 150 million euros will be given in the form of participation and access to various EU funding programs. It is estimated that the RD and related assistance program will total 100 million euros. Total loans at the end of February climbed by 30% year-on-year to 55.4 billion euros from the 42.5 billion euros in the same month a year ago, according to the monthly monetary survey of the Central Bank of Cyprus. The sharp decline in loan applications also saw February record a month-on-month decline, the first since January 2006. Total deposits in February, meanwhile, reached 58.4 billion euros, up 13% compared to 51.5 billion euros deposits in February 2008. Domestic residents increased deposits by 27% to 40.8 billion euros, while deposits from the rest of the world fell by 8% to 16.4 billion euros. The International Air Carrier Association urged the Cypriot government to take concrete steps to make airlines return to Cyprus. The IACA represents 34 airlines and 26% of the airline market share in Cyprus and continues to be concerned by the excessive high airport charges and infrastructure costs, as well as by the overall lack of efforts to attract people to Cyprus as a tourism destination. Against a background of an alarming decline in incoming tourists, from the UK in particular, the discussions focused on the unacceptable increase of 34% in airport charges at Larnaca and Paphos airports. The meeting also discussed the knock-on effect of the new charges, which make Cyprus up to 115% more expensive than other competitive Mediterranean leisure-oriented airports. The concession fee on Hermes revenues, allowing the government to take 33% or more than 29 million euros of revenues earned from the airlines without any financial risk or any commitment to reinvest it back into the airport infrastructure, was also raised. Meanwhile, Ryanair is not ruling out flying to Cyprus in 2009, but said it has not been officially approached by the country's tourism authorities to make it a reality, according to industry news reports. In 2008, Ryanair said it was unwilling to fly to the island until Cyprus's relatively high landing charges were dropped, robbing it of over 60,000 European tourists per year. On top of the reduction in fees, last year the Cyprus Tourism Authority started work on its Air Route Development Scheme, which allows it to offer marketing support, not direct financial contributions, to airlines bringing new routes to the island. Now completed, expressions of interest will be put out to international airlines in April. And now, some news in brief. Bank of Cyprus International Banking Services announced that the Cyprus Certification Company, an official accreditation body for ISO 9001 standards, has granted the division and its branches, the International Business Units, ISO 9001-2008 certification for their quality management systems. Cypriots are slowly warming up to the idea of buying goods on the internet, as this number has more than doubled since 2004. In 2004, only 4% of Cypriots had bought items over the net. This grew to 9% in 2008, but is still short of the EU average, which increased from 20% on average in 2004 to 32% in 2008. The 34th Annual March in Aid of the Anti-Cancer Society will be held during April. The national fundraising campaign will begin on April 9th. On April 11th, collections will take place at all big supermarkets, and on April 12th, at the points where the march will begin at all districts. All funds raised are used by the Cyprus Anti-Cancer Society for cancer patients' welfare programs and medical treatment. Thanks for watching FinancialMirror.tv.